Welcome back, everyone. I'm so glad you're here. Today, we're going to be talking about your kitchens. You need to run your house like a business. You are the CEO, the manager, and the employee. We will spend our next episode talking about that, but keep that notion in your mind as we move through today's topic, which is the kitchen. Now, before I go any further, I want to give a little shout out to a very special follower of mine. Her name is Emily. Emily, hello. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching my videos. I love you. Okay, now back to the video. You need to run your kitchen like a restaurant would. Because your house is a business, your kitchen is your restaurant. I'm going to break this down into 7 sections. So grab your notepad and pen and let's get started. We've got inventory, food prep, meal planning, groceries, zones, leftovers, and closing shift. The most important component to your kitchen is the inventory, the food. Just like a restaurant manager knows exactly what they have on their shelves and in their fridge, so do you. Keep this on paper, use an app, just keep it mentally. I personally just keep mine mentally. I tell you all the time, if you don't overstock your pantry, fridge, freezer, it will be really easy for you to remember or to even see what you have in your restaurant. You don't want to waste money on spoiled foods, so you're going to properly prep your food. And you're going to rotate your food. This means you follow first in, first out. This means whatever was purchased first needs to be used up first. This goes for anything that is perishable, so basically everything in your kitchen. Now let's talk food prep. This can be really challenging for houses because it's so time consuming, but it's absolutely necessary. When you do your grocery shopping, you will bring your food home and then immediately prep it. Why am I saying immediately? Because if you do not do it right away, you never will. That's how spoilage happens. If we can procrastinate, we will procrastinate. Food prep consists of washing produce, properly cutting up your chicken, cooking whatever proteins you can, assembling your lunches for the week, on and on. But it's vital to remember that you cannot start food prep until you have first cleaned out your fridge and pantry, and second, you've gotten your kitchen ready. So you've got a clean counter to work on. You've unloaded and reloaded the dishwasher so the sink is empty, ready for new dishes. You do not want to start food prep until you've done those things. Those things are vital. Otherwise, you're just stacking mess on top of mess on top of mess. And food prep, which is already overwhelming, becomes even more so. And you don't want to do anything by the time you're done. Now, let's really quickly talk mise en place. This is a French term for everything in its place. It's essentially how restaurants operate during service. It eliminates the chaos during dinner time. It doesn't just mean you have a place for everything while you're cooking. It's a philosophy of efficiency. There's a flow to it. When you're cooking, there's so much going on. You don't want to be adding tasks. So you're going to eliminate dinner time stress by prepping what you can ahead of time. For instance, if you can chop veggies ahead of time, do it. If you can pound out your cutlets, portion your spices, crack your eggs, do it. Have a bowl on your counter for the scraps as opposed to walking everything to the trash individually. I could go on and on, but your service will function much more efficiently and effectively if you adopt this mise en place philosophy. Are you guys with me so far? If so, leave a food emoji in the comments. Okay, moving on to meal planning. Just like how a restaurant has a menu, so do you. You're going to meal plan for the week, but you're not going to meal plan based on what looks good. You're going to meal plan based on your stock. It's very similar to how a restaurant would decide their specials. So whatever ingredients you already have, you're going to try to make meals based on those ingredients. So what I do is I just type into Google the ingredients I have with the word recipes, and you'll get some ideas. So for instance, I could type chicken, mozzarella, onion, and then recipes, and it would give me some ideas of what I can make using those ingredients. Real quick, let's talk about your grocery budget. You're going to grocery shop in a very specific way in order to save money. You're going to go essentials, ingredients, extras, okay? So we're going to start with essentials, things you can't live without. It'll be different for every house. For my house, it would be like toilet paper, detergent, milk, etc. I actually have a list of my staples on my website, so feel free to check that out. If you're watching this on YouTube, I will try to put it down in the description box. Your house will be different, but you do want to identify what your household staples will be. It's just like a restaurant. They all have certain things they buy each week, their staples. If you were talking about Wendy's, the restaurant, their staples would be like ketchup, French fries, ground beef, those kinds of things. After you've added all your essentials essentials, then you're going to move on to ingredients for meals. Once you've done that, with whatever is left over, you can add on the non-essential things like the snacks. So you have to follow essentials, ingredients, extras to stay under budget. If you grocery shop using this method, you will save money, I promise you. I recommend doing this on an app. You can use a piece of paper if you want to. I use the Walmart app because it's where I do my grocery shopping, so it's most convenient for me. But as I'm adding stuff to my cart, it's giving me a running total of where I'm at so I don't overspend, right? And then if I get all the way to the end and I have gone over my budget, that's where I can add or delete things. It's a lot easier than you have it all in your cart, you realize you're over budget and you have to go put stuff back. Using an app also helps eliminate impulse purchasing that happens at the register or walking throughout the store. Okay, next let's talk zones. Your kitchen should have invisible zones. There should be a prepping station, a cooking station. Now these zones might be set up by you, but they might just also be organically formed. For instance, your cooking station obviously is probably going to be, like where your stove is and stuff. I've had people say, I don't have the space for zones in my kitchen. That's totally okay. So your prepping station can also be your cooking station. You're just going to do all the prepping. You're going to clean the space and then you're going to move on to the cooking. Okay, next let's talk leftovers. Leftovers are the bane of most kitchens' existences, right? That's where perfectly cooked food goes to spoil. So in order to make sure you're using everything, you're going to employ two methods with your leftovers, restaging and repurposing. Restaging is what I call trickery. It's an illusion. Typically, leftovers don't get eaten because we get desensitized to them. We see that same container of spaghetti every time we open the fridge and it looks boring and blah. So change it up. Create an illusion of something new. Maybe move the food to a new container. Maybe just turn the container a different direction. Maybe move it to a new shelf. This works for the pantry and the fridge. We're just giving it a fresh look. We're making it more appealing and more appetizing to our customers, which are the people in our house. Now let's talk repurposing. Maybe you've cooked dinner and you've got some leftover ingredients or maybe some just leftovers in general that you can repurpose into a new meal. For instance, you could take that leftover pasta and you could repurpose it into baked spaghetti. You can turn that leftover chicken into tomorrow's chicken salad. Just get creative. Finally, let's talk closing shift. Just like how the night shift has to get the restaurant ready for the opening shift, it's the same with your house. Someone is getting the kitchen ready for whoever is opening the house. Now, in a restaurant, there would be a checklist. If I were you, I would just use my daily 6. That's the top part of my cleaning schedule. That has everything you need to close your kitchen. It's super easy. But if you want to be more meticulous, by all means, make yourself a checklist, stick it on the fridge, wherever. Make sure whatever employee is closing down the kitchen for that night is utilizing the checklist. In our house, we all share responsibilities on the daily 6, so the person closing the kitchen may be different from night to night, but that is it. There is a science to running your house, even your kitchen, and by treating your house like a business and running your kitchen like a restaurant, it becomes much less daunting and it turns into a checklist, very procedural kind of thing. Is there anything on this topic of our kitchens that you have questions about or need explained further? Is there anything I missed that you think would be helpful? I love to hear your feedback. You guys have the best ideas, so let me know in the comments. If you found this video helpful, please interact with it. The more you interact, the more I know you guys want these longer discussions. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.